Have you ever felt stressed out and overwhelmed? Has your friends ever tell you to go take a chilled pill? Have you ever feel like you're barely keeping your head above water and you're just struggling? In this episode, Meditate with Allan, we're going to talk about 3 most effective ways on how to overcome your stress and manage them. Hi, I'm Allan, TEDx speaker and #1 best-selling author. Now I've been practicing Zen meditation for the last 17 years. Now, I've been practicing meditation for a long time. I understand the benefits of it. I feel it myself, but I really don't understand the science of it until about 7 years ago when I had the benefit, a luxury to have studied with Kelly McConigal in Stanford University. Now, for those of you who don't know who Kelly is, feel free to look it up. She's one of the most popular TED speaker, and she talks specifically about stress. In her lecture, one of the things I found really profound was that there are certain activities that you do that's going to help you alleviate stress and make you feel even better, whereas your brain is actually firing dopamine, right? This is kind of the feeling good hormone versus firing the cortisol hormone, which is the stress hormone. Now, they've done a huge study where they study different type of activities and see what kind of cortisol level or dopamine level they're firing off of, right? And one of the most profound things I found out was, so if you can guess, now for some of us, when we get stressed out, what do? We sit back, have a beer, and we turn on the tube and watch what? Games of Thrones or something like that, right? So these series, we start binge watching these TVs. Because, I admit I've done it before. We're trying to keep our mind away from our stressful life. But what I can tell you is after the study, they found that watching TV, binge watching these shows, watching this movie does not help. In fact, what it does is actually elevates a little bit of cortisol level because you're still kind of stressed out, right? Because at the end of the TV series, what happens? You're like, it's a cliffhanger. You're like wondering what's going to happen, right? Somebody's going to get killed. That boosts our cortisol level ever so slightly. So we're actually stressed out even more. So it's really not an effective way to alleviate our stress. Right? And that goes with playing video games as well. That also elevates our stress, elevates our breathing, right? So that doesn't work as well. Now, some of the things they talked about, well, what about cooking? That's kind of like neutral and other topics. So today in this session, Meditate with Allan, we're going to talk about the 3 most effective ways on how to overcome your stress and manage your stress. So as you can guess it, the #2 way to manage your stress is go exercise. Because when we go exercise, it fires off, our brains are firing off different chemical, like the runner's high. It's actually we're firing off dopamine. So we feel really good. I know the toughest part is probably getting your butt off the couch and getting you to go exercise. That's probably the hardest part. But let me ask you this. Have you ever gone exercising or to the gym or whatever and come back and ever regret to go out and exercise? Chances are probably not. And you probably feel really good, minus the soreness and achiness and when you first started exercising, right? You probably feel pretty good after you come back from workout. That's because our brain is firing off different chemicals. So that's the #2 way on how to effectively alleviate stress. Now, the #1 way, before we actually dive into the #1 way, let's talk about something else. What she found out is stress is basically everything she studied about stress was wrong. Now, this is actually her new study. Everything she knew about it, because she always thought stress equals cortisol, stress equals stress hormone, like you're going to age older, age faster, you're going to have 99% of diseases come from stress, and you just feel horrible. What she actually found out was stress is what is the meaning that we put behind it. It goes back to the silver lining, right? So glass half full, glass empty, as cliche as it sounds. So the moment that we actually see this event as stressful, that we see it as glass half empty, then our cortisol level goes up. The moment that we see this as a silver lining, right? So it's our meaning that we put behind it. And as soon as we recognize that, that can determine how our brain chemical is firing. So that's the other thing. When we're stressed out, especially in a stressful situation, I'd like you to be more mindful about why you're stressed out. And if it's not an ideal situation, what could be, ask yourself this question, what could be the learning lesson? What could be the silver lining if there is one? So when you ask like an empowering question like that, you're going to get an empowering answer. So now let's dive into the number one, the most effective ways on how to overcome your stress and manage your stress. As you guessed it, no brainer here on this channel, it is meditation. In fact, I'm going to teach you this specific meditation today where scientists have found that when we're stressed out, they measure the brainwave and they measure our heart, right? So the brainwave is EGG. And when we're totally stressed out, the EGG monitors like this so rapidly versus our EKG on our heart rhythm, they're all counter oppose each other. They're not in alignment. The moment that I'm going to teach you this specific meditation today, as soon as they do that, their EGG and the EKG, all the chart starts to align with each other. And that's how powerful this meditation is. So with that said, before we dive into the practice, and I want to show you a little bit why this works, because if you really think about it, what is really stress? The definition of stress is really, we put it so much weight on something that really doesn't matter. So let's take a step back. You remember back in college day or maybe high school days, when you had to take a final? Do you remember? It was pretty stressful at the time. Plus, hormones all over the map, right? I remember specifically during that time. It was really stressful when I had to write my term paper. Now, in that moment, I was super stressed out. But when you graduated from high school or graduated from college, when was the last time you thought about your term paper? It's probably been a while, right? If you're a lot older like me, it's been a while. I don't remember about the stress level then. So we forget about that portion because that wasn't important. It was an important part in our lives, but as years progresses, it's not important in our lives anymore until we forget about it. So back then, what I'm talking about is we put so much weight on that value that that's why we're stressed out. So first things first is just recognize, yeah, this thing is important. We put a lot of weight on it, but I know in a couple of years from now, we'll probably laugh at it. It was such a stressful moment. So the question for me to you is, why not laugh about it now? Why until years later? You're not saying like, I'm going to be able to laugh at the situation, years from now, 10 years from now. Don't wait. Laugh now. Just have fun. Here's the thing about stress. As long as we're awake, as long as we're living, we're always going to stress. We're going to always have stress. It doesn't matter if you're Dalai Lama. He's got stress in his life. It doesn't matter if you're Oprah. She's got stress in her life. It doesn't matter if you're a lottery winner. We all got stress in our lives. And stress is a sign of life. The moment you don't have stress, you're already underground. So take a moment of that. Think about that, okay? So, all right. So let's dive in deep into the meditation. So what I'd love to have you do is find a nice, comfortable seating position and go find somewhere quiet where you don't have a lot of distraction, both visually and sound, okay? So you can either sit on a chair or sit on a meditation bolster or whatever you typically do to meditate. So let's get into alignment first. So what I'd like you to do is kind of find a comfortable seat and focus on your base of your spine. From there, lift one vertebra at a time. Lift, 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 and always to the top of your head. So your spine is grounded and you're lifting. Okay, from here, take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Nice deep breath out. A fuller deep breath in. A fuller deep breath out. And the deepest breath you take in all day. And then from here, when you're ready, I'd like to invite you to place both hands on top of your heart. And I'd like to invite you to think about 3 things that you are grateful for today. Now, don't overthink this. Be as simple as possible. Maybe come up with 2 simple things and 1 maybe big things, okay? So such as like the clear air we get to breathe, the clean water we get to drink. So whatever that is for you, take a moment to appreciate the 3 things that you have in your life right now that you are appreciative of. and continue to cultivate the deep diaphragmatic breath. Big inhale into your stomach. Nice exhale out of your nose. And when you're done thinking the 3 things you are appreciative today, feel free to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, take a moment to connect with your heart. Feel in the rise and fall of your chest. Feeling your breathing, feeling your heart beating, perhaps. And I'm going to count backwards from 10 to 1. As I count backwards, you're going to be even more relaxed. Starting with 10, 9, 8, even more relaxed, 7, 6, 5, 4, more relaxed, 3, 2, and 1. You are blessed. You are very blessed. Now, I like you to imagine that you have a bubble that's surrounding you, and as long as you're in this bubble, you're in a safe and calming and serene place. Nothing can harm you right now. You're in a sanctuary. Then from here, I'd like you to imagine a healing light, a golden light, that comes from the top of your head into the crown of your head. Allow this healing energy, this healing light flow into your eyes, your jaw, your tongue, your brain, your neck. Slowly trickle down into your shoulders. This warm light coming down your spine, healing your nervous system, into your stomach, into your hips, into your thighs, your ankle, all the way out of your toes. And this warm, healing light is here to serve you and heal any cells and any wound and anywhere else in your body that needs most loving, kindness, compassion, gratitude right now. Allow this light to permeate throughout your entire body and allow it to flow. And while you're doing this, imagine all the stress that you're holding on your shoulders, your neck, your lower back, your hips, or anywhere else that you feel most tension right now. Imagine that stress, that weight, that dark, turbulent energy. Just let it flow out of your body, out through your toes. When you're ready, nice deep breath in. Would you let it go? Nice deep breath in. Exhale. Could you set it free? Nice deep breath in. Could you let it go? Again, come back to cultivating this deep diaphragmatic breath. If it feels good for you, go ahead and sigh it out. Make a big a big yawn. Yes, let all that stress go. Nice deep breath in. Let it go. One last round. Yeah, let all the stress go. When you're ready, slowly drop your hands, open up your eyes. Welcome back. Now, this is part of the 21 days stress relief challenge. What you can do is bypass the first part of the explanation of the stress and dive right into the meditation part. And it's only about 5 minutes. So I know you got 5 minutes, right? Out of the 24 hours, you got 5 minutes to alleviate stress. And the other thing that's also really cool about this particular meditation is oftentimes when I come back home, right before I get into the door, I sit and do about a 5-minute meditation so that when I come back home, I'm even more present with my wife, with my kids, with my family. So you can definitely use this video that way as well. And finally, if you're new to the channel, please click on the subscribe notification button, because this year I'm dedicated to shooting daily videos on keeping you accountable with your spiritual practice, with your high performance life, and really to help empower you to get the most out of your life and help you get your life to the next level wherever you are at in life. And finally, if I may give you a big hug, a big virtual hug for a great job done, and keep up the hard work. Every day you do this, you're going to find more strength and more inner strength and more peace in your life. And remember to live purposefully, love passionately, and serve with your heart by spreading love and joy. To the light within you, to the light within me. Namaste.